So this past week, Gary, the guy who made the tubular rail for me, was going to come by the house and show me and my dad how to weld. Now my dad has had a little tiny welder for years and years and years that he's barely used at all. So he was going to teach us how to use it. It turns out that that welder can't weld anything that's much thicker than aluminum foil. So we're going to have to buy something bigger and better if we're going to actually weld stuff on our own. And another issue is, we actually do not have an outlet in our entire house, and on the entirety of the outside of our house, that can handle 220 voltage or amperage or powerage or black ice or anything. So we would have to use our generator to power any welding activities that we would do. But we have a way around welding, or at least some of the welding that we would have to do. Because also, he brought along with him some pieces of square tubular rail and had an idea. What if we were to drill a hole straight through the square tube to the bottom, then on the top part of the square tube, drill a slightly larger hole, fit a bolt through, and the bolt would go halfway through, meaning it would stop before it came out the other end, and screw down the rail that way to the cross ties, and wouldn't have to weld tie plates, wouldn't have to weld anything. And we've devised a way, me and my dad, to possibly connect the rail without any welding, so yay for that. Also, square tube seems to work a lot better when it comes to rolling around than the round tube, which can be expected. I mean, look at real rail. Real rail is mostly square. And I also got a price quote for square tube, but it was 11 gauge steel, and I can't remember what width it was or how large it was, but it was a little bit too big for the biggest tube bender I could find on Amazon, because I looked on Amazon and looked on Harbor Freight and looked on Lowe's and looked everywhere I could and could not find a tube bender that could bend that big of steel tube. The biggest one that I could find could bend 1.5 inch, 11 gauge, no, not 11 gauge, 14 gauge square tube. So that looks like that might be what I actually get when it comes to rail. Now, it doesn't really matter how fragile it is, as long as it can hold the handcar up for a little while, and hopefully I can sell some rides, make some money, and buy some proper park train rail one day. And the main reason I need to bend rail on my own is because I don't know how sharp these curves are until I lay the track down. And I can't afford a rail bender on my own, can't afford real rail. So this is a nice starting point. And since I have the handcar, and since the handcar is light, I should be able to operate it on it without much issue. But we won't know till we try it, will we? So that was most of what happened last week, or at least the way the week started out. Hoped to have this video done before the weekend was over, but I got delayed and delayed and delayed, and other stuff has happened since then. But since it's not quite related to this, I'll save it for later. So thank you all for watching this, and have a wonderful day.